Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be doing subsonic airflow. First we'll look at different terms associated with the aerofoil. So as I said in the last lecture that aerofoil is something that we get when we cut the wings at the cross section. Okay, so this is an aerofoil shape. This is called the leading edge. This is called the trailing edge. The straight line which joins the leading and the trailing edge is called the chord line. Okay. Then we have something known as camber line. So it is a curved line which separates the aerofoil into two equal parts. So the difference between the camber line and the chord line is known as camber, which is this part. So if the camber line is above the chord line, we call it as positively cambered aerofoil. If both these lines are the same, we call it as symmetrical aerofoil. If the camber line is below the chord line, we call it as negatively cambered aerofoil. Then we have angle of attack. It is the angle between the relative airflow and the chord line. Okay, this angle is the angle of attack. This relative airflow is unaffected by the presence of the aircraft. Okay, so we have the airflow here. So as you can see, initially it is a smooth laminar flow, but after a point it gets turbulent as its speed increases. So an example would be tap water. So when you initially open the tap, the water flow is very smooth, it is very laminar. Okay, as you open the tap fully, the water comes in with greater force and it becomes turbulent. Similarly, initially the flow is laminar, but as the speed increases, it becomes turbulent and finally it separates. So the point where the flow becomes turbulent is called transition point because it transitions from laminar to turbulent, and the point where it finally separates from the aerofoil, it's called the separation point. So this line, okay, so within this it is known as the boundary layer. So airflow outside the boundary layer, this whole part, is unaffected by the presence of aircraft, whereas within the boundary layer, the air is affected by the presence of the aircraft. So if I can show you that just near the boundary layer, the air moves comparatively faster as compared to the air particles closer to the aerofoil. This will move slower because it comes in contact with the aerofoil surface, and due to friction its speed reduces. And just at the aerofoil surface, the speed is very less. Okay, due to friction the speed decreases, and at a certain point there is no energy left within the airflow and it separates from the aerofoil. Okay, then we have stagnation point. So this is where the airflow first hits the aerofoil. So this point is the point of highest pressure and zero velocity. So we have to remember this. So now we'll look at the definitions of all that is explained here. Chord line, as I said, it's a straight line joining the leading edge and the trailing edge. Camber line is a line joining the leading edge and the trailing edge, but it is equidistant from the upper and lower surface. So basically it divides the aerofoil into two equal parts. If camber line is above the chord line, as I said, it is positively cambered aerofoil. If it is below the chord line, it's called negatively cambered aerofoil. If camber line and chord line are same, then it is called symmetrical aerofoil. So ailerons, rudder and elevator are the examples of symmetrical aerofoil. Okay, so they are symmetrical because they have a different function and the wing has a different function. So the wing, basically we want the airflow to accelerate. Okay, so only if it accelerates, we'll have a pressure drop here. Okay, so lower pressure, higher pressure, right? Lower pressure, higher pressure, high to low, we'll get the lift force. So that is why we use a positively cambered aerofoil for the wing. Relative airflow has three qualities. Its direction is parallel and opposite to the direction of flight path. So if the aircraft is going in this direction, this will be the relative airflow. If the aircraft is climbing, the relative airflow will be again opposite. If it is descending, similarly, this will be the relative airflow. So it is always parallel and opposite to the direction of the flight path. It is unaffected by the presence of the aircraft, and the magnitude of the relative airflow is the true airspeed. If the airflow does not possess all three of these qualities, we refer it as effective airflow. Okay, angle of attack is the angle between chord line and relative airflow. Effective angle of attack is angle between chord line and effective airflow, this being the only difference. Angle of incidence, angle between chord line and longitudinal axis. Okay, so what is longitudinal axis? We had done in the last chapter. So it is an imaginary line going from the nose to the tail of the aircraft. So angle of incidence as the angle between chord line and longitudinal axis. So we saw laminar airflow above. Okay, so initially the airflow was laminar, then it became turbulent. So a turbulent airflow gives more skin friction but has a delayed separation from the aerofoil due to its higher kinetic energy. So this turbulent airflow has higher kinetic energy due to it being going at a higher speed, higher velocity. So the tendency for it to separate from the aerofoil is lesser. Okay, as compared to laminar airflow, it has less skin friction, the laminar airflow, but it has a greater tendency to separate due to its lower velocity and lower kinetic energy. Then we have something known as upwash. As air flows towards an aerofoil, it will be turned towards the low pressure at the upper surface. So as we have the aerofoil here, the air accelerates, the pressure decreases. As compared to here, the pressure is more. So again, high to low, we'll have lift. So this air going towards the low pressure upper region, so this area is known as upwash. Okay. Similarly, after passing the aerofoil, the airflow returning down to its original position, this airflow is known as downwash. Then we have adverse pressure gradient. So air flowing in the direction of rising pressure is called adverse pressure gradient. So normally always the flow is from high to low, never from low to high. Okay, but in this case specifically, the upper surface is low, the lower surface is high. So this flow is from low to high. Okay, so in this case, this is called adverse pressure gradient because air is flowing towards the area of higher pressure. Boundary layer, we did two-dimensional airflow. It assumes a wing with the same aerofoil section along the entire wingspan with no span-wise pressure differential or flow. Okay, but in reality this won't be the case because the aerofoil section won't be the same across the whole wing. Okay, so if I can show you a wing here. So as you can see here, the aerofoil section is lesser. As we go closer and closer towards the root, the aerofoil section increases. Okay, so if this is the fuselage, this area is called the root and this is called the tip. So root is where the wing meets the fuselage. Now we'll look at influence of dynamic pressure or IAS on the angle of attack and the lift being generated. So as you can see, the pressure is highest at the stagnation point. Comparatively, the pressure is lower above and higher below. If you increase the speed, that is, if you increase the IAS, the pressure differential will increase. So the pressure will decrease further above, okay, as compared to below, giving a greater pressure differential and increasing the lift even further. So center of pressure is the point from where lift acts. Okay. Center of gravity is the point from where weight acts. CG. So for lift it is center of pressure. For weight it is center of gravity. Now we have movement of center of pressure with angle of attack. So basically, as the angle of attack increases, the center of pressure keeps moving ahead and ahead till about 16 degrees, after which the lift decreases and it will go back again. So we will see that in detail now. So as the angle of attack increases from 0 to 16, the CP will move forward. CP is at the most forward location just before the stall, which is CL max. So as you can see, we are increasing the angle of attack. The lift force is moving forward and forward, and it is also increasing in magnitude. So as you can see, here it is even more. And finally, above 16 degrees, the pressure differential no longer exists and the lift force is gone totally here. As you can see here, there is no pressure differential here. So at the stall, that is above 16 degrees, lift falls sharply and CP moves aft. Aft means rearwards. This is because the low pressure on the upper section of the aerofoil suddenly collapses. So we look at the influence of angle of attack on lift. So in case of an asymmetrical aerofoil, okay, that is in the case of a wing, even at a negative angle of attack, like at negative angle of attack, we're getting zero lift, that is at minus 4 degrees. Between minus 4 degrees to 0 degrees of angle of attack, you're getting a small amount of lift. Okay, that is even at negative angle you're getting small amount of lift because of the camber. Camber means curvature. When we keep the angle of attack at 4 degrees, it is said to be the most efficient angle of attack. That is, for the lift that you are getting minimum drag. Okay, so this ratio, which is lift by drags ratio, will be maximum. So when the angle of attack is at 16 degrees, if it is increased above 16, the lift will start to decrease and CP will again move aft. This is a symmetrical aerofoil. So in case of that, at 0 degrees, you will get 0 lift. Okay, so that was not the case with asymmetrical aerofoil. You were getting some amount of lift even at negative angles of attack. So that is the benefit here. But then again, both of them are used for different purposes, symmetrical and asymmetrical. Now we have something known as aerodynamic center. So it is the point where all changes in the magnitude of lift effectively takes place. Okay. So AC is also the point about which the pitching moment will remain constant at normal angles of attack. That is, within the normal range, the pitching moment will remain constant. So as we know, moment is the product of force and perpendicular distance. Aerodynamic center, it is a fixed point on the chord line. In case of subsonic airflow, that is below the sonic speeds, AC is located at 25% chord point. So this is important. We have to remember this. A nose down pitching moment exists about the AC as CG is ahead of CP. Okay. So this is the center of pressure, and generally the CG, it is not shown here, but CG is generally ahead of CP. Okay. So CG is the point from where weight acts. So because the CG is ahead, the aircraft will have a general nose down pitching tendency. Okay, that is what they have written here. A nose down pitching moment exists about the AC as CG is ahead of CP. So in this case, moment is the product of lift and the distance between CP and AC. Okay, so we have two examples here. So the first one, lift is 50 and the distance between them is 4 meters. So overall you will get a moment of 200, right? Similarly here, the lift is 100 newtons and the distance is 2 meters. Again, the answer will be 200. So irrespective of anything, the pitching moment will remain constant within the normal angle of attack range. So again, moment of about the AC remains the same, okay, at any angle of attack within the normal range. As you can see, the angle of attack was less here. We got the value of moment to be 200. Here the angle of attack is comparatively more, but again the answer is the same. So we look at the pitching moment for an asymmetrical aerofoil. So in case of symmetrical aerofoil, when at zero angle of attack, the upper and lower surface forces are equal and located at the same point. Okay, so basically there is no difference in pressure. The pressure is the same both above and below. So you'll get same forces both above and below. With an increase in angle of attack, again the upper surface force increases while the lower surface force decreases because air is accelerating over here. So as velocity increases, pressure reduces. pressure is comparatively greater here. So again, high to low, a differential exists and you get a force here. A change in the magnitude of lift has taken place with no change in CP position, that is center of pressure position. It is a characteristic of symmetrical aerofoils. Okay, so the position of CP will remain same in case of symmetrical aerofoils, but in case of asymmetrical aerofoils, as we saw, as we increase the angle of attack, the CP was moving forward till CLmax, after which it dropped. But in case of symmetrical aerofoils, the CP position will be same. The pitching moment about the AC for a symmetrical aerofoil will be 0. Okay, this is important. So the pitching moment is 0 in case of symmetrical aerofoil, because there is no change in center of pressure position. It is same throughout, hence the pitching moment will be 0. So lastly, we have wing loading. So it is the ratio of aircraft weight to wing area. So this weight is the gross weight. Okay. So we are done with this chapter. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you think it was useful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who might find it useful. So thank you.